All right, welcome to the G.T.O podcast, episode 12. This is the real number 12 this time, right?
Yeah.
All right, and I got my boy Sam with me.
Yep.
And my other boy,
Dontez Banks. Good day.
all right, he's here to talk basketball with us. So we're changing up this week because as we found out like 6 weeks ago, there's no gaming news. There's only E3, and then you have to wait next year. So this podcast, we're gonna go over our top 10 greatest players of all time, NBA and ABA. There's no Drew League, no European League, so we're not doing that, just to make sure. Right?
All right, man. We all understand.
So we're starting at number 10. Sam, do you have a list?
I do, but when you go first?
There you go first.
All right, my number 10 is, drum roll please, everyone give it up for Tim Duncan, the big fundamental.
At number 10, okay.
He has a plus 14 net rating. Net rating is a big stat for me, influencing who I picked. So that's my big thing. I also use win shares per 48, counting stats, usage. It's all important stuff to me. But I guess before we go deeper into our list, what were your criterion for using for putting the players where they were?
I didn't really have any. Just kind of.
It's similar to Sam. I was looking at not really accolades or anything like that, but scoring numbers, scoring percentages, rebounds, assists, just regular stats. I didn't go looking at any advanced stats or anything because that would took a lot longer.
All right. But you're definitely, are y'all those people that look at all-star games and championships?
No.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, you got to have some modicum of success. So I'm saying, like, a player who never won a championship, like Chris Paul, like, that will make him lower on the list than somebody who had won 7. Like, if you had to have some level of success, you know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Like, if you got 0 MVPs, 0 All-Star, if you're just a bad player, you got to have some type of accolade.
Well, I had DJ Mabanga as my number 4.
Of course, man.
Not actually, but Tim Duncan had a heck of a career. Just retired this past year. I didn't really look at his accolades, but we all know 5 championships. I think he got at least 1 MVP and a bunch of All-Star votes, all NBA stuff. So, y'all disagree or?
I think that's a great spot for him.
Yeah.
All right. So, Sam?
My number 10 is Bill Russell.
Bill Russell. All right.
Okay.
Why?
I don't know. I was just going off of people that I knew that were, like Dontez said, at least kind of successful.
Kind of. He won 11 championships in 13 years.
You're pretty successful.
Yeah, true.
I'm not going to combat you on that one.
Yeah. No, I got no problems with that either.
He's the defensive Wilt Chamberlain. But,
you know what? I didn't put Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Oscar Robertson. I didn't put any Kareem Abdul-Jabbar even. I didn't put any of those guys on my list. Not because they're not excellent players, but because it's like it's an entirely different thing with them. And it would be kind of, I don't know, short-sighted to look at Wilt Chamberlain's 50 points per game and just say he's the greatest player of all time or something like that. I didn't even want to put him in the list really. So basically, if you were talking about criterion, I kind of disqualified them from my list per se.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just throw in Bill Russell got 11 championships, so he must be the best. I didn't do that.
A lot of people doing that at Michael Jordan. Well, anyway, who's your number 10, Dontez?
Well, I only have 9, so I guess my number 10 is no one. So we should just move on to number 9, then, shouldn't we?
All right. My number 9, Charles Barkley.
Okay.
The round mound of rebound.
Oh, my goodness.
He also has a plus 14 net rating, a 24.6 PER. Pretty good.
0 championships.
See,
Pretty good.
See, when you're talking about the championships thing, it's kind of a tough thing because in the 90s and the late 80s, it's like there's really a lot of good competition.
Exactly. He was dealing with Michael Jordan, and I can understand that.
And, I mean, his team was all right, but it doesn't stand up to, like, the Jordan teams. That's just pretty much it. So I cut slack for people who played in the 90s because, obviously, it's Jordan and Hakeem winning all the championships.
Well, in that same vein, that's kind of why I put Tim Duncan above Charles Barkley, and also have Dirk as my number 9. And I would definitely argue that Dirk did a better job than Charles Barkley because they had competition there as well, and he was still able to bring his team to a championship with essentially 11 role players on his team besides him.
Now, some people would say that the Heat lost that series. They they caused themselves to lose because LeBron was nervous.
I don't want to hear that. You know what I see? I see a team with 3 superstars that lost to a team with 1 superstar. So I gotta respect Dirk's game when I see that. And then even then, you're looking at the numbers. Dirk Nowitzki is the greatest big man shooter of all time. You know, He's shooting 38% from 3 on his career. They got players who don't even get close to that in one season. He's a member of the 40, 50, 90 club. He's one of the greatest shooters of all time. He's always been an efficient scorer with how he can get to the line. And then go to the line and knock down free throws at 90%. No one can do what he does.
True.
So
Sam, how about you? What's your number 9?
Wilt
Chamberlain. Why?
I don't know.
Sam went for exactly what I didn't want to do. He got Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain in there.
I'm just coming at this from an extremely casual point of view. It's more about reputation for me.
Exactly.
And these are just the people I came up with.
All right. What the whole point of this is so we don't go by reputation. We actually analyze the players and.
I ain't got time for that.
Hey, I can respect that, man.
You're definitely a casual fan with that perspective. I wonder who number 1 is. Well, let's move on to number 8. So I remember Thursday, I was talking to Dontez about this, and you reminded me Kevin Durant definitely exists. So I looked at his stats. I'm like, to say he hasn't played not even a decade yet, and he's surpassed so many people. He's extremely efficient from his second year on. He already got an MVP, averaged over 30 points, I think, twice.
Exactly.
And to say that he plays with Russell Westbrook, so he's not even. I don't think he's reaching his full potential as a scorer yet.
Exactly, because Russell Westbrook's had an extremely high usage percentage, one of the highest of all time. When you're talking about how many shots he takes, how many turnovers. I don't know. So what you were saying?
And there's another stat that I like. It's called value over replacement players. So it adjusts for your competition.
Right.
So it's a hard time comparing across eras with this stat because back in the day they would play their starters a lot more. So the competition, the replacement player would be, I'm guessing, be better than the one today because they're playing the starters more. So I guess it's kind of a flawed stat, but if you're comparing Kevin Durant to LeBron, I think it's perfectly viable if they're playing at the same time. Exactly. But he has a 41.7. You don't have context for that now, but Charles Barkley over his career he had 93.5. It's a cumulative stat. So let's say Kevin Durant's halfway through his career. By the end, he would have around 90. So he's comparable with these legends.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
All right, so
That's what I was saying. It seems like you have a good basis of where you put him. So you see, I see Kevin Durant as one of the greatest scorers of all time. You know, he's up there with. There's only a few players who have ever averaged 30 points a game. He's done it.
Allen Iverson. Dude sucks.
He's done it several
Kobe
times.
Bryant, he sucks.
All right, man.
He's not on anyone. He better not be on any one of y'all's top 10.
We get it. You hate the Chuckers, man. We get it.
No,
but even then,
right.
Kevin Durant, he shoots the ball and he makes shots. It's that simple. From the free throw line, the field goal percentage, it's all there. I looked at Kobe. I wanted to put Kobe in my top 10 list. Kobe is one of my favorite players. I wanted to. I look at Kobe numbers. I look at Kevin Durant numbers. And Kevin Durant just do everything Kobe does, but better. He's bigger, taller, faster, stronger. It's just he scores better. He shoots better. The 3-point percentage is not even comparable. The dude's a marksman, and he's one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen.
So, Sam, how about you?
My number 8 is kind of a shock. It's going to be Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett?
Oh,
that was up there with me. Why Kevin Garnett? Because you're a Timberwolves fan?
Well, that, and he was one of the first, one of the best high school to pro.
Exactly.
He changed his position. Definitely. He was a more mobile power forward than they had in the past, and definitely up there.
I look back at some of those 2004 highlights sometimes. I'm like, man, this guy is so great. It's too late that he didn't get a good team until he's 31 years old.
At least he got a championship though, unlike Charles Barkley. But anyway,
I would say Charles Barkley didn't get on a championship team until he was 30 something. Why didn't you just do this from the beginning? He wanted to get on the Houston Rockets after they won twice when Michael came back. Nice one, stupid. No, I don't want you on the list because you're stupid. Why'd you wait?
Kevin Garnett, that's definitely a great choice, and similar to Dirk Nowitzki, but in a different way. He kind of pioneered what the modern big man is today, where you have to have at least some kind of respectable jump shot, and definitely something that Kevin Garnett has over Dirk Nowitzki is Kevin Garnett was always a much better defender than Dirk ever was, and even a better passer, I'd say. So I definitely agree with that. But my number 8 was actually the one and only Stephen Curry. Of course, I had to include the greatest shooter of all time on my list.
Already, he had 2. I think he has 2 standout years. Like, he was good before, but we're comparing this Steph Curry. This Steph Curry was only happening in 2 years, so I think it's a little premature.
That's why I look at it like that. You saying he should be higher on the list, or
no? I'm not. I'm saying he shouldn't be. I think we should wait.
Nah, you see, that's what I'm saying. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. It doesn't matter if you only look at don't worry about him, the MVPs, you get in the finals and all that. He still shot better than anyone else. He did what Steve Nash does. He's done the same thing that Steve Nash was able to do, but he was even more effective in that he was able to actually win games. Maybe that's because he had a better team, but I would still argue that Steve Nash had a good team too. Sean Marion, that's like comparing with Andre Iguodala or Draymond Green. Amari Stoudemire is just like Draymond Green. He has people. Steve Nash had people with him too, and he wasn't able to do as much as Steph Curry was. It's just the way that Steph Curry can handle the ball, move around, facilitate as well. Definitely not as good a passer as Steve Nash. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, with the passing, he makes it up with his shot making.
Exactly. And a thing that's underrated is that Steph Curry doesn't turn the ball over nearly as much as some other people.
As some other people, but he gets 3 or 4 a game.
3 or 4. That's why I'm saying he's only number 8. He's not the best point guard on my list. Okay, so just know that I think Steph Curry's the greatest shooter of all time, and he deserves a spot on the list. I will put him above Dirk Nowitzki because I don't think there's any argument with that. I just think he's a better player than Dirk. Yeah,
and the fact that he's there now, when he's still kind of young.
He's only played 7 seasons, and he's already accomplished more than a bunch of players like Charles Barkley.
Yeah, if we do this in 5 years, he's definitely climbing up.
All right.
So I understand why you want to wait, but what I see now is 44% from the 3. I see 90% from the free throw line, and I see crazy assist numbers. He even gets a lot of steals. He's not a good defender, trust me. I know that. He's a bad defender, but he still gets steals. He does a lot to help his team win games.
Well, you say greatest shooter of all time. What about Steve Kerr? No. Anyway, I want to go back to Kevin Garnett because I think it's a little he's pretty underrated in my eyes because I think
definitely
he's where he doesn't have stuff in shooting. He has in versatility. Because if you go watch that I think it was Western Conference Finals, I forgot. I think it was versus the Spurs, and he was doing everything. He was handling. He was shooting threes at some point,
exactly.
Clutch threes.
He did. It's just what you call it. It's just like any great player. All these players that we have on our list, they all did what they had to do. They were able to adapt their games and change based on what they had around them.
I guess one thing, with Charles Barkley, he tried to shoot threes, but he ended up being the worst 3-point shooter of all time.
Yes.
So
Charles Barkley wasn't as adaptive as some other players. That's why I don't really see him as being that great. And maybe he could have snuck his way in there if he would have just went go play with a great team, like somebody like a bunch of other players do. Like Kevin Durant might be doing this right now. He could have just went go play with a bunch of great players, and then he forces himself into the discussion just because he wins so many championships because of who he's played around. It puts a bigger light on what he's done.
All right, so that raises a good discussion. How do y'all feel about Kevin Durant going to the Warriors?
You know what? I say Kevin Durant is one of the greatest scorers of all time. Kevin Durant is also a sellout. You know what? I just gotta say it, man. Kevin Durant, he sold out. After just a completely bitter series, they went through hell, man. And this dude just dips out on Russell Westbrook and he's like, I'm going to play for the team that we just lost to. It's just unbelievable. And I also respect how he did it too. He didn't say anything. He wasn't talking in the press conferences that much. Then he just, I don't know, he's like, yeah, I'm going to Golden State. He knew the whole time. Right after they lost that series, he was like, you know what? I'm taking my talents down to Oakland.
He's like, man, I'm 27. And I haven't gotten a ring yet. I need to hurry up and get this because the Warriors going to be good for the next 10 years.
Exactly. And you know what? Russell Westbrook, Victor Oladipo, and those guys down there, I'm happy to see what they're going to do. But if the Warriors don't do better than the Thunder, then this whole season is just a joke.
Sam, how about you? How you feel about this?
I don't know. I mean, you got to do what you got to do to win, but
exactly.
It could have been another team, or it probably couldn't have been another team. I mean,
well, if he went to the Cavs,
no,
he couldn't play with LeBron.
That wouldn't work.
Kevin Love can't play with LeBron.
To me, Kevin Durant is kind of making himself like Kobe Bryant, where he's like, you see the Kobe Bryant Michael Jordan comparison, and how a lot of what Kobe does or has done or whatever is all compared to Michael Jordan. And you see a lot of similarities there, but you always see Kobe just being like worse at everything.
Yeah, because Kobe sucks.
Shut up. We get it. You don't like Kobe, all right, man. But what I'm saying is, it's gonna end up being the same thing with Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant's trying to make a change for his team or whatever and carry them the same way LeBron has. But then he just cops out the same way LeBron copped out and went to the Heat. He just cops out and goes to the Warriors. And then what? He gonna have his triumphant return to OKC?
But I think it's different though with the LeBron thing. LeBron teams always sucked. He was dragging them by their ankles to the finals. But OKC, I can see it's different in this case because his team has always been good.
Exactly.
He's been to the finals.
That's what I'm saying. He's just trying to do what LeBron's doing, but he's just not as good at it. And it's just showing that KD is a lesser player.
Man, I mean, I think it's a lot closer. Like I agree that he's lesser, but only by a little bit.
But I'm saying when he does stuff like that, when he just goes to Warriors, especially if they don't win a championship this year, if they don't win a championship, he's just gonna make everyone think that he's trash. And that's what's gonna happen. That's the only either because there's like as far as his legacy goes, there's only two outcomes for this. They win a championship and they're like, oh wow, good for you. You went to the Warriors. And then if he loses, then they're like, you're a punk. You sold out and you didn't win a championship. So he kind of just screwed up his legacy in my eyes.
Well, I kind of sympathize. Like in the heat of the moment, I can see why Kevin Durant did it. Because everyone always saying, oh, he's gonna be the next like Reggie Miller or Charles Barkley. He's gonna do all this, have all these amazing stats, get MVP multiple times, and not have a ring. So it's not gonna mean anything. Like
exactly.
So he is stuck between a rock and a hard place because OKC is not winning any championships anytime soon.
Exactly.
Russell Westbrook is not going to learn how to pass the ball to Kevin Durant when he's wide open. I'm watching these since I'm watching the playoffs late. I'm watching them in August when they happened like 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. I was watching the Mavericks versus the OKC series, and Game 5. Kevin Durant, like the whole second and third quarter, he has terrible body language. He's like, God,
just pass the ball.
Just pass the ball, and like it, and then like it was like this play. They missed the shot twice, and Russell Westbrook got the rebound, and he just wouldn't pass it to Kevin Durant.
And that's another thing. The frustrated KD is what led to this. You know, if you want to see some more of that, go look at the Spurs series, and you'll see KD hardly getting the ball, and when he does get the ball, he's got the best defender in the NBA on him, and he's just struggling the whole series. And then, of course, Russell Westbrook shows up and saves the day because even though he's like horribly inefficient, there's games where he can just take over. You know, there's games where he can just do what he has to do. And KD sees it, he's like, wow. It's like I can't do anything. It just frustrates him to no end. So he wants to go to the Warriors. KD wants to be Klay Thompson. He gets the ball and he just shoots the ball and he scores and everyone loves him for it, even though he doesn't do that much. You know, he just wants to go somewhere where he'll feel appreciated, I guess. So I understand his decision too, but I'm saying from a lot of commentators' eyes, you know how they think.
Yeah,
they're gonna see it how they want to.
But all right, everyone sees that this is a problem. Like he can't stay in OKC because of that, but we don't want him to go to the Warriors because that's unfair. So where would you put Kevin Durant then?
If I was KD, I would have went to the Cavs. I don't care. I wouldn't even care.
But wouldn't that be the same problem then?
Exactly, it'd be the same problem. I'm saying that to KD, it shouldn't matter at all. He should go wherever he wants to, wherever he thinks he can win. If KD leaving OKC is the problem here. It doesn't matter where he went. People would still be mad. Unless he went to a trash team like the Celtics or something. Then people would be like, oh yeah. But I'm saying there's no way where he would be able to satisfy both of those things.
I really think he should have went to the Hawks and revitalized my man Dwight Howard's career. No, okay. Enough of that topic. I think we should move to number 7.
Who you got, Sam? You go first.
Yeah.
Y'all's talking on the last couple ones kind of changed my mind. I have KD there.
Yeah, who do you had originally?
I think I had Scottie Pippen. I don't know why. I have no idea.
Dude, Sam loves the old school players.
Well, I mean, Pippen does deserve as much respect as as Michael does for the rings.
Definitely.
But I don't know, he's just not the same.
Well, I mean, as soon as Michael left in that, I think it was 95, 96, they lost 15 more games or 20 more games, and I mean that just shows that where he stands.
Yeah, we shouldn't even be having this discussion. We all know Scottie Pippen isn't as good as Michael Jordan. Let's move on. We all know this.
What's your number 7? Let me go first.
My number 7 was the big fundamental. I had Tim Duncan a little higher than you because I feel like he's one of the greatest defensive big men of all time, and he's had the longevity too. He's been at it for how long is it? I don't even know.
19, 20 years.
The only player to win a championship in 3 decades. I think.
Exactly. He's a beast. There's nothing else for me to say.
It was kind of sad to see towards the end he missed a bunch of layups. He was looking like me out there, you're right there, dude. It's time for you to retire, I guess. And both of us did. We hung up that shirt, and both of our numbers gonna be retired.
But it's funny because even through all that, the Spurs with a broken down Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan, they were still always a more successful team than the Clippers. I hate the Clippers. I can't stand them. I don't know why they're so bad, and it just frustrates me to no end.
Well, look, they have
the way I see it. The Clippers with the way their offense works and everything, they should be just like the Spurs, except even more athletic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember a couple years ago they had a pretty good defense, and
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense.
I love the offense. I like the high pick and roll.
Definitely. They have one of the best offenses in the NBA, but they got Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan. All 3 of them are capable of playing excellent defense. There is no reason that they should be letting people score all over them like this.
You know the problem though? Wouldn't you say all 3 of them are superstars, right?
Yes.
And usually 3 superstars would make a super team. But see, this is the problem. They don't have the best player in their conference. It worked with LeBron. It's going to work with the Warriors. It worked with the Celtics in the past because they had the best player in their conference. They don't have Steph Curry. They have Chris Paul, which he's the god he's the point guard. But it's not going to work right now. It's just a bad timing.
Yeah, Chris Paul is cursed, man.
And Blake Griffin, I don't know what's wrong with him.
Blake Griffin does what you ask him. I mean, he scores points.
I'm talking about why he punched that guy in the face and break his own hand.
Oh, you talking about all that? I don't know why players do that at all. They get frustrated, I guess.
And man, I kind of lost hope with the Clippers too. Last year in 2015 playoffs, they were up 3-1, right?
Yes.
And
the Clippers used to be my favorite team, but they just let me down time and time.
What happened to Lob City?
That's what I'm saying, man.
You remember Lob City?
They should be much better.
I remember.
They should just be much better than they are. I just had to bring that up.
Every now and again, I like to go back at the 2013-14 season. That was just a great season. There's no drama. I feel like there was less drama back then. Maybe that's a nostalgic, 14-year-old in me. But
exactly.
All right, number 6, Sam. Wait, no, number 7.
Yeah, you just say your number 7.
Oh. It's the guy who got the HIV. It's Magic Johnson. This guy is a legend on and off the court. You know how many women he slept with in the Playboy house? To the point that he contracted the HIV, and we all thought he was going to die. But since he's super rich, he was able to pay for the medicine.
Magic Johnson is a guy that I wanted to have him here on my list, but Magic Johnson can't shoot. And even though he gets a crazy high number of assists, there's only 3 players really.
Well, let me tell you
who
his
are in their area.
He averaged about 20 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, and that's all throughout his career. This beginning and all right. So he averaged 4 turnovers, so that's 11 to 4 ratio. That's not bad.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. his 11-4. I'm saying it's not as good as Chris Paul's. That's why I think Chris Paul is better than Magic Johnson.
Chris Paul like 10-2.
Even along with that, Chris Paul also was able to shoot, which was definitely like the thing that kind of that was a problem for Magic Johnson. But it wasn't really a problem then because he still had great players around him as well, and that's why I think it's kind of skewed in his favor because he had so many rings and all that.
Well, the shooting is not as important back then. There's like 5 people back then that can shoot a 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That definitely matters.
And he was a pretty good defensive player, pretty like good as Chris Paul. He averaged 2 steals, and
I would not say good as Chris Paul.
I know it's hard to say because we haven't watched nearly as much. Like I can only see so much.
Yeah, I definitely say he's not as good a defender as Chris Paul. Even if you like, we don't have the defensive stats, of course, they're not as accurate or whatever. But so all we could really go off is steals. But even in the way that the people in his era, like the commentators, or whatever, whoever voted on it, the way they saw it, like this is an example where I think the accolades could be kind of useful here in saying like what people generally thought about Magic Johnson and Chris Paul. That Chris Paul was on 6 All NBA defensive teams, and Magic Johnson was on 0.
Really?
So generally, people regard Chris Paul as I'm saying then compared to now.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like people respect Chris Paul as a good defender, and he's known to have been that. But Magic Johnson seemed like he was just a guy who got steals, kind of like Steph Curry.
Kind of like Russell Westbrook. Like he probably gambled on every other player.
Russell Westbrook is an entirely different. Russell Westbrook is just a joke on defense because he's one of the most athletic players in the NBA, but all he wants to do is just reach and occasionally get a chase down block because he's much more athletic than his people he's going against, you know.
But what really stood out to me was the plus 17 net rating. That means he's worth, like, throughout all the stuff at the end of the game, he adds 17 points to your overall score per 100 possession. So that's like the most is 20.
Right.
And the average player on this list has about 15. So that's the elite stuff right there. So this little thing called win shares per 48.
Yeah, I know this.
And it basically tells you how much like a game are you winning for. So he won 22.5%. Like any given game, he's contributing that much to the win.
Yeah.
And the max is about 25%, and that's for your Michael Jordan type people.
Yeah.
So that's just phenomenal. So that's it. We'll move on to number 6. Dontez, I think it's your turn to go first.
Number 6, I had Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq Daddy.
Yep. One of the most dominant players ever, you know. I mean, there's only one bad thing about Shaq. We all know what it is. The dude can't shoot free throws. He didn't even have to shoot jump shots. It didn't matter. In the post, no one can stop this dude. He scored what? I think he's 3rd all time for points.
No.
2nd, 3rd.
He has like Dirk has more than him. I know that much because I just took a quiz on it. He scored 28,000 points, I think, and Dirk has more than that.
No, that's what I'm thinking of. His field goal percentage. He was 2nd all time for field goal percentage, behind only Artis Gilmore, so somebody irrelevant. So basically,
he almost made my list.
So basically, out of all the players that scored a lot and took a high volume of shots like consistently throughout their careers, he shot the best percentage. He was the most efficient just shooting shots. The only thing that really held him back was his free throw percentage, and he was still able to win regardless of that. You know,
he probably would have been the leading scorer of all time if he made those free throws, like 75% of them.
We all know this, you know.
Man,
that's the only thing. That's why he isn't. I mean, if you give Shaq Dirk Nowitzki's free throw percentage, is Shaq's number 1 on
God, he probably averaged 40 a game.
What a beast, you know.
So Sam, what's your number 6?
I got Larry Bird, just for he's known as a pure scorer. Probably not much else, but back then when there weren't that many big scorers,
he was a really good rebounder as well, though.
Yeah.
I feel like this is reverse affirmative action. I don't have any white people on this list, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I had to put Dirk on there because, you know, he's 7 feet tall and he got the stroke, so I just threw him on there, you know.
How much of Larry Bird did you actually watch? Have you seen the legendary duels between him and Dominique Wilkins? Him and Michael Jordan?
Yeah. Or bits and pieces.
Alright, well. I guess I'll say my number 6 is no other than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. See, I like to take into account, even though we don't like to put like people from the 70s or 50s or 60s, we think they're irrelevant. But I like they say the competition's a lot less. Like, it's a bunch of 6-foot white guys that smoke cigarettes during halftime. I mean, that's true, but I'm like, he's still dominating. I gotta give him credit for that.
Exactly.
So he had a plus 16 net rating, 25 PER, 0.22, 8 win shares for 48. 25, 11, 3 blocks, and on 3 turnovers. Like he's just pretty good. There's nothing wrong. Like and one thing for me is longevity. He was so great for like 20 plus years. And you won championships not only with the Showtime Lakers, but also with Oscar Robertson and the Bucks back in the 71, 72. So I mean, it's pretty good. So
it's a very similar thing. I think a good analogy between Steph Curry. What Steph Curry does with the 3, what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did with the sky hook, but he even took it to a whole nother level. No one can stop the sky hook.
It's unblockable.
It's just crazy. And just with that, he was able to score more points than anybody in the history of the NBA. He won a bunch of championships, All-Stars. He's got everything. But like I said, those players kind of like disqualified from my list, I guess, because they didn't even keep all of his stats from back in the day.
Yeah, it was hard trying to get the stats.
So that's why I kind of. But of course, we all know he's a great player.
I'll do my number 5 first. It's none other than the point god. I don't care if he didn't even make it to the Western Conference Finals. It does not matter to me.
No way.
Who is it? It's Chris Paul.
Oh my god.
A plus 18 net rating. You cannot just pass that up. He has over 25 PER, 19 points, 10 assists.
Thank you.
2.5 turnovers. So 10 divide 10 over 2.5, and that gives you more than 3.
Yes.
That's one of the highest assist to turnover ratios ever. I'm pretty sure that's the highest, but I'm not sure.
Yes.
Over 2 steals. 0.1 block, by the way. 0.1 block.
I mean, he's short.
But I mean, I got to see him in person once. I'm like, man, he's pretty short, and I'm like, he's doing all this great stuff. And a lot of people compare him to Isaiah Thomas, but he blows Isaiah Thomas out the water.
Exactly.
Isaiah Thomas. I look at his stats. I mean, it's okay that you can't shoot because no one could back in the 80s and 90s. But his net rating for his whole career is -1. What is that? So he had a couple good years.
What is that?
Like he had a couple good years when it was like 5, but towards the end it was just horrific. It was, I guess that's due to I think he had ankle injuries. So I mean, yeah.
That's hilarious. Actually, I had Chris Paul as number 5 as well.
Right.
The exact same reason, I think he's the greatest point guard of all time. John Stockton.
I try to put him on this list.
John Stockton, I don't think he belongs on this list.
Yeah.
He passed the ball and I don't know, man. He just didn't do that. He didn't do as much as Chris Paul does, I think. Well, and of course, I didn't see John Stockton play. It's all that stats from back in the day and stuff. So same thing with him as with Oscar Robertson or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's why I felt way more inclined to put Chris Paul here because I've seen what he's done. I know what he's done. Look at the stats and all that. It's all there. And of course, Chris Paul, he can shoot as well, and that's always a plus to me for people on this list.
And Chris Paul, he played with pretty good big men, just like John Stockton. He played with DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, and before that was Tyson Chandler. And I say he's pretty good for what he was doing. But I went back and watched a couple of the playoff series, like from the 90s. And John Stockton, he has a lot of assists, doesn't turn the ball over like Chris Paul. Like he doesn't turn the ball just like Chris Paul does. But he scores a lot less. He averaged a whole 5 points less. Like, if that's the thing that's holding him back. He just didn't impact the game as much. Yeah. But he was just as efficient, though. So
yeah, he was, John Stockton was a point guard who basically, he would keep the game in check for you. He wasn't about to take over and win a game, but he would make sure that he didn't make any mistakes and turn the ball over and, like, basically lose games like Russell Westbrook, Steph Curry do sometimes nowadays,
Yeah. He let the mailman deliver.
Very, very disciplined player, but it never came to fruition. The same way with Chris Paul, Because I guess it's the same thing with Chris Paul, is that John Stockton and Chris Paul, unless you have really good, efficient players on your team, you'll never really get the most out of what they can do.
What are you talking about? Antoine Carr was one of the most efficient people of all time.
This is what I'm saying. Like, you put Chris Paul on the team with Shaq. Wait. With Shaq.
I need to fix that. Antoine Carr, he played with like sunglasses or something. What was up with that? Anyway, go on.
Whatever, man. What I'm saying is, I don't think they had a player to take full use of their abilities. You know, of course, Blake Griffin's good. You know, Karl Malone's good. But I'm saying, I don't know. They just needed like a next level player, and they would be unstoppable.
Yeah, I need a third guy. The third guy is very important. There's not many championships won without that third guy. That's why Dirk is just so great. Like, how did that even happen?
That's what I'm saying, man. That's why I had to throw him on here.
So, Sam, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is going to be Shaquille O'Neal.
Mm-hmm.
Like what Dontez says, just pure dominance everywhere except free throw shooting.
I feel like your list is progressively getting worse. Yeah. Are you coming from number 1?
No.
Where you think Shaq's worse than Bill Russell?
No, I just don't have him as high as Wilt to foreshadow a little bit.
Oh,
I just felt like
Wilt Chamberlain did not belong on these.
All right, do you have anything else to say about Shaq?
No, nothing that's not already been said.
I don't like y'all list at all. Well, you know, I'm all stuck in the here and now, so we can move on to number 4. But like I said, I'm looking at what's going on right now and focusing a lot on that and what I've seen, and of course throwing in stats a bit, but not as much as Mark, you know. So that's how we kind of got that different focus. This is pretty cool, you know. We got Sam, who's just like the casual fan, you know. He's watching, he sees what he's doing. He likes the players. You got Mark, seems like it's all about the stats to him, and then you got me, who's just, you know, kind of like a eye test or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And my number 4 is Kevin Durant for that reason. Because, like I said, he's been one of the most efficient scorers all the time, you know? And he just puts in the work.
Well, if it was, like, I was casual, if I was doing the eye test, I would definitely put Andre Karolinko on. Because I was watching a highlight video the other day, and I got, how is this guy, like, not Defensive Player of the Year every year he played? Like, he averaged over 3 steals a game for multiple years. Like, what is up with that? That's legendary stuff.
It is. Andre Karolinko, man, you know what? Andre Karolinko is such a beast on 2K. I just gotta throw that out there. He a sleeper on 2K. He'll lock down anybody. You know, people go get Kawhi Leonard to shut people down. But Kawhi Leonard not big enough. People get Andre Karolinko, he shut down anybody on 2K.
He's like 6'9", 6'10". He's doing this athletic stuff. Like he was not only stealing the ball, he was like doing behind the back passes under people's legs, dunking on people, man.
Yeah, he was a beast, man. He was a beast.
But it was all from like the Utah Jazz days, so I guess he like fell off a lot since I've been started watching.
He fell off so much. He was one of those players who just, like, after he had those, like, he had his prime or whatever. Yeah. After that, it was
a Baron Davis like drop off. It seemed like as soon as he got signed to the Nets, like everyone else on that team, like with Kevin Garnett and them, they all dropped off at the same time.
No, he dropped off a year before when he was with the Timberwolves. That was
I forgot about
utterly horrible.
Oh,
AK-47 is a beast.
What was that? Number 4. All right, Sam, you go.
Tim Duncan.
All right.
I'm pleased with that. Again, just like what everyone else has been saying, longevity, dominance.
All right, I just got one question. Why Tim Duncan over Shaq?
That's a good question. I can't properly explain it. It just feels. He just feels better to me.
I guess you.
He's been better in my lifetime, so I guess.
Well,
that was probably
Tim Duncan, like I think they're equal. But if you don't think longevity is more important to you, I'd definitely take Tim Duncan. But if you think like that raw like spurt of numbers, I'll take Shaq. But I don't like doing that because if you just took that couple years, like Gilbert Arenas would be like in the top 20. Like he had like a legendary season. Like he was better than Kobe Bryant, I think, for that one season. I think it was 2006. Yeah. And Brandon Roy, I guess. But I don't really remember him that much. But all right, well, I guess I'll say my number 4. He played with Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan won a championship for this guy. It's my boy, the Admiral, David Robinson.
You know, it's hilarious that you have David Robinson.
You got a king. I know.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious, man.
But let me explain myself. I'm looking through these stats. I'm seeing what's good. I watched a good part of these plays. Like I watch documentaries a lot, so I have stuff before this. I have a little bit of knowledge before this. I go in and I see David Robinson, 26 PER. All right, that's sexy. Plus 20 net rating. What is this? Michael Jordan don't got this.
He's going crazy, right?
And I look. It's not that he's like crazy offensive player. It's like he's one of the best defensive players of all time.
Of all time, he's a great defender.
it's not even just the blocks. Like, he does more than that. Like, he stops people from just scoring outright. Like,
exactly
better than Roy Hibbert.
He throw them 2 hands up, and he's standing there, and it's nothing getting past him. You know, he got the reflexes, the timing, the quickness of feet. You know, I think he is one of the best defensive big men of all time.
3 blocks over 1 steal for a big man. He's still scoring 20. He's still getting 10 rebounds.
Exactly. He's going crazy. He's just doing it.
So that's just why he's just a crazy guy, but it's too bad he never had to get the championship before, like he got Tim Duncan. But I mean, that doesn't make a difference for me. Is that everyone's 4? I keep forgetting where we're at.
So since you just brought up your number 4, David Robertson, I should just go right into my number 3, Hakeem Olajuwon, who basically just outplayed David Robinson his entire career, and he did along what David Robinson did with Tim Duncan. In the games where David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon faced off, Hakeem Olajuwon regularly won that matchup against one of the greatest defensive players of all time. Hakeem Olajuwon it's very similar to what Dirk did, but it was even better competition back then. He's against some of the greatest defensive players.
Wait, Clyde Drexler's not a star? Alright.
Is Clyde Drexler as good as Tim Duncan?
No, I'm saying like you compare him to Dirk. Like, Clyde Drexler is a star for then.
But I'm saying, even then, Dirk wasn't against Michael Jordan and all them.
But Hakeem wasn't against Michael Jordan. That's the years he won was when Michael Jordan was playing baseball.
It don't matter. It don't matter. I'm saying he had to regularly compete against that competition. And he was still doing well. You know?
I don't make an argument against you because they've had that the first title, the first finals they went against the Orlando Magic, and the Orlando Magic. You could say that they lost the game for themselves because I think it was Nick Anderson was at the line. It was game-winning free throws.
I don't want to hear about no game-winning free throws. Don't try to pretend you don't know. Hakeem Olajuwon averaged 3 blocks a game for his entire career, 11 rebounds, 22 points, all on 53 or 52% shooting. He had an excellent field goal percentage with that too. You know, you talk about David Robertson doing what he did on defense and then still bringing it on the offensive end. Nobody has moves like Hakeem.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I get that. From a skill standpoint, I will give it to Hakeem. But I feel like David Robinson, because the stats, I wouldn't expect it. Like, I wanted Hakeem on this list. I didn't even think about David Robinson. But when I look at these numbers, he just so good of a defensive player, better than Hakeem.
You know who else was on defense with David Robinson? Tim Duncan was right there.
Whoa. That was the last 2 years. He played from 85 to 98 without Tim Duncan. You name one player that was on the Spurs from 85 to 98.
I don't know. David Robinson? All right, man. I think Hakeem Olajuwon is better. That's my opinion.
I mean, if I was picking, like right now, I still would play David Robinson.
You would pick David Robinson.
But I like Hakeem better. I like Hakeem better, though. I like him, like, looking at him. But I'd rather have David Robinson on my team.
Why would you want David Robinson just because he can play defense? Hakeem Olajuwon got the most blocks of all time. You think he a bad defender or something?
I'm not saying he's a bad defender. I'm just saying David Robinson's better. Like, what he doesn't get in blocks, these people are still not scoring on him. Like, if he played, I think he would be more valuable to Hakeem because he doesn't need to score, right? Like, you need to post stuff for Hakeem every time. You could front somebody and then double team off the catch. And, like, there's a way to get rid of Hakeem in a game, what they weren't doing back then.
No, they were double teaming him back then. He was still scoring.
All right. Well, Sam.
Yeah, we nobody gonna win this argument.
They're basically
because I'm not letting it go. Hakeem is better.
All right. Number 3.
My number 3 is LeBron James.
Oh my. What?
This is purely out of spite, so I don't have MJ on here.
All right, man.
You're not even a casual fan, like.
Number
I just stopped caring when I got to my top 3.
Number 3, LeBron James.
Explain yourself.
I can't. I stopped caring.
All right.
Just threw a name
All right,
up there.
my number 3. I mean, I think
this is a joke.
I think you'll start laughing as well. But how I'm supposed to pass up a guy? How I'm supposed to pass up a guy who scored 100 points in the game?
Oh man.
let me get these stats for you. He averaged 30 points.
I don't want to hear about Will Chamberlain overly inflated stats.
23 rebounds.
I don't want to hear it. They was taking like 300 shots a game.
Did he play all 48 minutes?
Yes, he played.
Did he average 49 minutes one season? Even though it's 48 minutes.
Such a joke.
These things are all true, but I think he's still number 3.
He's still number 3. So basically, you couldn't think anybody else.
No, I legitimately think he's number 3 of all time.
All right. So who's number 2, LeBron or Michael Jordan, Mark?
Let's say our ones first. Sam, you go first. Say your one first.
No.
No, go ahead.
Oscar Robertson.
Oscar Robertson.
The big guy.
I'm surprised Sam didn't say Will Chamberlain.
There's no suspense with this because Michael Jordan's not on the list, right? He is?
Yeah, no, he's not. Not at all.
He's not.
Michael Jordan's not on the list.
Who's number 2 then?
Y'all heard my signs, man. Y'all heard my signs.
Who's number 2 then?
I don't think Dontez is gonna like this. Kobe.
I do like Kobe, but I'm saying Kobe.
He copied Michael Jordan's offense, didn't do it as well, and he didn't have defense like he's just a worse version of Michael Jordan.
I know this sounds ridiculous, but the only thing Kobe did right was win games. When you look at everything Kobe did, there's no reason he won that much, but he still did. I just don't get it.
See, he's barely more efficient than the average player, and since
he takes so many shots,
he just makes them eventually. He just outscoring us because he keep taking the shots. It's not because he's like outskilling us. It's like
he's not gonna stop.
But let's look at it this way: when you're shooting like balled up paper into the trash can, what do you say? Do you say Jordan? No, a lot of people. Kobe. Yeah.
See, he's got a good point there.
Yes, we get it.
Honestly, I think I just want to change my list and put Kobe number 1.
He influenced a generation of players to shoot like him. See, and this is what makes him worse for me. He influenced DeMar DeRozan from the player he is, taking fadeaway 19-footers and just being a
salty Raptors fan. You mad because Kobe turned DeMar DeRozan into the worst player on y'all team. People don't even know it, but DeMar DeRozan loses the Raptors the games they lose.
Yes, they win in spite of him. So I really do feel that.
You know, it's funny because Kobe deserves to lose a lot of the time when he does what he does, but Kobe just beats other teams even though he shouldn't. He's a beast. He's a legend.
You know, but
he's not on here.
The same reason I have Will Chamberlain on my list is the same reason I don't have Kobe on my list. Like, the guy scored 81. Like, no, get him off. Like, you know why he scored the 81. He just couldn't stop shooting.
He couldn't stop shooting. You act like he had a bad performance that night. You want to look at the stats for the 81? You want to look at the stats for Kobe's 81? Yes.
Go ahead.
All right, let's look up the stats for Kobe's 81. Give me a second here.
It was version to Toronto Raptors, and he was scoring on poor Mo Pete. Poor Jalen Rose.
Jalen Rose never let that one down. All right, let's take a look.
28 for 46. That's
28 for 46. You think that's better?
Nah, that's good. It's better than his retirement game almost. I think
his retirement game was beastly.
It was 25 or 50, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He scored 60 points. Wait, I don't even think that if you really care about efficiency that much, even if a player scored a bunch, you should go look at the game in the Western Conference Finals where Dirk Nowitzki scored, was it 50 or 48? And he was like 11 of 15 and 21 of 21 from the free throw line.
Was that versus the Trailblazers?
No, it was against, I can guarantee you it was against the Thunder. You need to go look at that game and see him just make every shot he takes.
Oh, that was in 2011. I'll go look at that.
Like, go watch the whole game. That would be nice for you.
I got this nice Russian website that I watch all the games on.
So your number 2 is Will Chamberlain.
No, that's my number 3.
Oh, so your number 2 is LeBron?
It is.
Wow, you actually put Michael Jordan over LeBron?
See,
you always talk about how he doesn't belong there. You always say that to me. I'm curious. Just explain
it. Michael Jordan, I feel like in 5 years, LeBron James will be considered, in my eyes, he'll be better than Michael Jordan. If he keeps up the way he's doing, like, even though he's on a decline, he could still average 20 points and 7 rebounds and 6 assists. I think that'll still be better than the last 5 years of Michael Jordan. And right now, their stats are like exactly the same. They have the same PER, almost the same net rating, Like win shares, by the time LeBron's done, they'll be the same. Like the counting stats, they're distributed differently, but they add up to almost the same thing. The turnovers same, usage almost the same. The value over replacement players, LeBron has an edge on that, but still, like I mentioned this earlier, the replacement players I would think hypothetically would be worse. Yeah. I don't know that to be true.
Definitely, it is true. I think so.
All right, so I think right there. If I could just have like they both be one, I would have that. But I don't want to have a cop out like that. I'll just put them at 2.
You know, it's so funny that you say that because my number 1 is LeBron James and Michael Jordan. I don't have a number 2. My number 1 is LeBron James and Michael Jordan.
All right.
And I only put LeBron first because it's in alphabetical order. I completely copped out on this one. And you know the way I see it is LeBron and MJ are so much better than anyone they've ever played against or with. That they're the only people that deserve to be in a discussion with each other. So I just put them right where they belong, right with each other, LeBron and MJ. And I said, I'm not even about to try and discuss this. We all know that they're both superhuman. We all know that they both could do whatever they want. If LeBron decided, you know, I think I just want to go get 20 assists, and he really went and go did it, he could probably do that and win the game.
Do we foresee him winning our championship or everything said and done, or Warriors is going to take care
of it? It don't even matter if he doesn't win another championship. After that comeback on the Warriors, he already sealed his legacy. Because you know and then he even went back to the Cavs and got one for the land. That's what he said. He got one for the land.
Man, I don't cry much, but I almost cried. I almost cried when LeBron won.
It was a beautiful moment, man.
I'm a tears of joy?
No, it was almost tears of joy. I mean, I almost cried. I didn't cry, but I'm like, man, like this, you can't even dream of that stuff. Like, he was born near the area, he won on the team sucked, came back, and he just won one. A city that hasn't won any type of sporting championship.
And then, of course, you beat the super team. You beat the team with the greatest record of all time. They won more games than anybody.
It's like beating the final boss, like the super boss in a video game. Like, you actually did it.
In real life. My dude LeBron had to start crying. You know, when I saw LeBron crying, I was like, this is beautiful. This is exactly how it's supposed to happen. Fuck Steph Curry.
And the year before that, I was crying tears of madness. My boy Kevin Love got his arm yanked out by stupid Kelly Olynyk.
Deserved it.
I want to put a hit out on Kelly Olynyk. They could have had 2 championships.
Man, if some random NBA player that ride the bench hitters, just go give Kelly Olynyk one for us. Just go get him.
Rip both of his arms out the socket through the skin.
That's really what he did. He ripped Kevin Love's arm out of the socket and just ruined LeBron's chances.
Well, I mean, they weren't going to win anyway because Kyrie Irving broke his.
I don't think Kyrie.
I'm pretty sure it went to 7 games without Kevin Love. They could have won with him.
I mean, unless he just
he went to 7 games
collapsed.
last year.
Yes.
Yeah, both of them went to 7.
7.
Wow, I don't remember that. I thought it was 6. You sure?
Yeah.
Yes, and LeBron was averaging 40 the whole time.
I remember that.
And they had to give Andre Iguodala the what you call that?
Yeah,
Finals MVP because
he was the locking up LeBron.
Because they
locking up as much as he could.
He did it the best he could. It was basically like this is for trying, buddy. It must have been so embarrassing for him to score 40 on you 7 games.
And Steph Curry wasn't really shooting that well. Like, I remember those games were low scoring compared to what they usually do.
Because Steph Curry got down by Matthew though.
Oh, I mean, it was only 3 games.
It's a joke.
What? Can somebody explain that? Yeah. Like, you're supposed to be the best player in the world, and you got locked up by some guy that came out of Australia. Like, he wasn't. I'm pretty sure he was undrafted.
Yeah. You know why that happened? Wasn't that Steph Curry's first finals?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna assume it was nerves or something. I don't know. There's no reason that should have happened.
There's no reason that series should have won anything past 5 games. And there's no reason the Cavs should have won this year. I really think the Warriors should have blew them out the water. I don't know.
I don't agree with that. Kyrie Irving, what we call it, outplayed Steph Curry. People don't pay attention to it, but Kyrie Irving won that matchup. And then you got Kyrie Irving and Steph Curry basically a wash, or in my opinion, in Kyrie's favor. And then the rest of the game is LeBron doing whatever he wants. Nobody's going to contribute as much as LeBron, of course. So that's how he won. Honestly, Kyrie Irving should have got Finals MVP, but there's no way that he was going to. You already knew that.
Yeah. Where do we see Kyrie Irving going? Like LeBron, he's gonna leave in a little bit. He's gonna retire. I don't see him playing I guess he's 32, but
you know what I know about Kyrie? Kyrie Irving is better than John Wall. And I'm mad. I'm mad at how bad John Wall.
I'm mad at everyone on the Wizards, man.
They just
like y'all.
It's just like the Clippers. They were like they were looking so promising when they beat the Bulls a few years back or whatever.
Man, I remember that they beat the Bulls, and then was it the
Pacers?
It was the Pacers. Yeah, the Pacers. Roy Hibbert. That was the one we used averaging like 0 rebounds, 0 points.
0 rebounds, 0 points.
That was the
5
one.
fouls.
He was trash, and Paul George. He was doing all he could, but the games were still close, and like there's no one else on that team. Mm-hmm. Lance Stevenson was a joke at that point. Like we still thought he was just having bad games, but I guess he was starting to be a joke. But they were coming close, and I remember minute left. John Wall wide open on 3-point line. He just stares at the rim. Nah, I'm gonna dribble it in, and then I'm not gonna make the layup. Well, all right.
John Wall can't shoot. You know, honestly, if there's one thing that a player can do to ruin their career, is if you can't shoot, that makes everything so much harder.
That was literally the difference in the game. He could have been in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I really do think since the Heat, they really didn't have like Chris Bosh, he's all right, but I think Marcin Gortat would definitely outpower Chris Bosh. And they have Nene, so they have two big men. They can't guard both of them.
Exactly. What you know something? You know something? I said shooting is a thing that could ruin your career to use, but no, I'm wrong. It's definitely injuries. I forgot about my boy D Rose.
Man, and you're bringing up all the things that make me want to cry. Like D
Rose was better than he had a season where he was considered better than LeBron.
Even though you could really say Dwight Howard deserved that year because that was Dwight Howard's best year. I mean, he was like a phenomenal defensive player, like a Hakeem Olajuwon type. Talking back to your list, and he was
even more rebounds too.
And he was scoring like one of the best pick and roll players.
I'm not going to concede that. I'm not going to concede that. Dwight Howard's not a good scorer. Never has been. Don't respect him.
Hey Sam, you mind looking that up for me going on basketball?
Dwight Howard is Shaquille O'Neal with no post moves. He still can't shoot free throws.
You don't need post moves for what he was doing.
Yeah, I'm talking about the pick and roll. I'm saying he scored well, but I'm saying it's not like he was doing something that anyone else can do. Like what he does, Marcin Gortat.
Oh, name more 6'11", 270-pound people.
You don't have to be that. I'm saying what he does. There's other normal, like the average player, the average NBA big man could do the same thing that he does. Kristaps Porzingis,
Chuck Hayes, yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
So
I know he's your favorite player.
Chuck Hayes got a triple-double once.
Once.
That's amazing. He's 6'6" and he's playing center. I mean, he doesn't play anymore. Good reason.
Probably because he's 6'6" and he was playing center.
Anyways, what's it looking like in 2009?
For what?
His points and what else? Whatever you want to tell me, blocks or whatever. What was that? 2009, 2010.
That's another thing. He didn't even get as many blocks as Hakeem at any point in his career. There's a season where Hakeem averaged 4.6 blocks a game.
There's no one getting that many blocks anymore, really. Like, there's Serge that came close, like with 3-point-something, and Anthony Davis.
2.9. They didn't even get the 3. No one's gotten the 3 in
no, Anthony Davis got 3 1 year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 2.9.
No, it was like 2.1 or something like that.
No, 2.9.
Oh,
or was it 3.1? I don't know, but basically 3. No one's gotten the 4.
So what's looking like? Is he scoring like near 20?
Yeah,
20.6 points a game.
Yeah, and Marcin Gortat averaged 18.8.
And what's the rebounds? 12?
That's where he's dominant, is rebounding and defense.
13.8.
13.8.
See? Better than Hakeem at rebounding.
And what year did you say, like, from what you're seeing, what year did he really drop off?
2012.
That's the first year with the Rockets, or is that the last year with? No, that's
Lakers.
The Lakers year. Ooh,
That was what ruined his career. It was Kobe.
What is? I don't think you.
Yes.
Yeah.
His career has been on a downward spiral since. He's hoping that he can make a change with the Hawks, but
I mean, he needs to get a good point guard.
Nah, he needs Kyle Korver. That's a good idea.
Oh yeah, and shooters.
Yeah, Kyle Korver and Dwight Howard sign me up for that. I want to see Kyle Korver have another year. Like when the Hawks, you remember when the Hawks and the Warriors were in competition for the best team in the league?
They won like 17 games in a row, like the year.
Yeah, didn't the Hawks win like 67, I think?
No,
was that the Warriors that won 67?
That Warriors won 67 that year. They won I think they won about like 60 flat. but they were disappointing. They got swept in the Eastern Conference Finals. I look like they just lost steam. Like Kyle Korver started actually getting defense.
No, that's not what happened. What happened was they didn't lose steam. It's just LeBron. He went into his actual mode.
No, well,
and you know the Cavs were trying to get their whole thing because that was the first year LeBron was with the Cavs. They were trying to get their whole thing together all season. From the onset, the Cavs were the better team. They just didn't have it together, you know.
Man, speaking of that, the back to again Kelly Olynyk. I hate you, all right? I know he's listening, by the way.
Let it go.
I know he's listening, but you could see in that game one that the Cavs were clicking. Their offense was going. They were you could see they were running the lanes. Like they had specific spots. Like Jared Smith, he didn't even do nothing. He just run to the corner, takes a shot, makes it. Or Kevin Love is going in the middle, or he's doing outlet passes just like it was. And it was the perfect offense. You could tell they had an actual identity. But no, I'm a big white guy. I'm just gonna yank this guy arm out of socket because I suck. I have no chance of winning. I'm probably gonna get waived because I suck.
Well, you talking about players that suck and shouldn't even be playing. Draymond Green, man. Draymond Green lost the Warriors the series because you know he did. He
got suspended.
Nah. He gave the Warriors' entire team bad karma, and he got suspended. We kicked Steven Adams in the ball. Steven Adams didn't even do him anything. It wasn't even
why did he do that?
He just did that for no reason. You know, he did something before that too. He kicked LeBron and all that. He's just always starting stuff with people, and he got what he deserved. He got put out the game. He got suspended. He lost his team the NBA Finals, and he ruined the perfect season for the Warriors. And I hate Draymond Green for that. The same way you hate Kelly Olynyk, because the Warriors. We finally could have had someone we hear about as being the best team ever.
Besides the
I'm
Bulls.
so sick of hearing about Michael Jordan's Bulls. I don't care anymore.
I can't even watch ESPN sometimes. They talk about it so much.
It's disgusting. It's just like the Tom Brady thing.
That's the Deflategate.
All they talk about is Tom Brady and Michael Jordan's Bulls.
Well, we better turn to ESPN right quick because he didn't actually deflate those balls. No, let's talk about one more thing. There's one more thing I want to talk about, and it's the Allen Iverson situation. The answer.
The answer. You know what the question is? Why did Allen Iverson do so bad? The answer is Allen Iverson.
See, we want to go with this first. Sam, you want to tell me what you know about Allen Iverson?
I don't know. I mean, he scored well, I guess, but kind of lazy.
Allen Iverson crossed up Michael Jordan. I know that.
Yeah, we all remember that. That was
walked over Tyronn Lue.
Oof, that was nasty.
Well,
I'm still mad that Tyronn Lue got Coach of the Year. Let's not be dumb.
Well, he got Coach of the Year.
Let's not be idiots. Tyronn Lue did not deserve Coach of the Year.
More like LeBron Advocate of the Year. I mean, besides his agent.
No, they should have just gave LeBron Coach of the Year.
They should have gave him GM of the Year.
That would have been hilarious. Oh man, could you imagine LeBron coming out and making a public statement? It was all me. I orchestrated everything. I'm the reason that the Cavs got Kyrie Irving. I'm the reason that they drafted Andrew Wiggins and then traded him for Kevin Love. I made all of that happen. If he just came out and made a public statement,
it was all a conspiracy. I went to the Heat so they get a good draft pick, and I come back to get Kevin Love.
He was like, if LeBron just came out, he was like, I made the Cavs. Because he already did everything on the court. He did everything behind the scenes too. It seems
they made a good job. If that did happen to covering up, because Dan Gilbert had that letter denouncing him. They had everyone burn his.
It was so perfect.
And everyone
the people burning his jersey. Yeah. They didn't know about it.
That was like a Ku Klux Klan thing. They were burning his jersey. He was you gotta go lynch this guy.
Wait, did you see in that moment during the game? I saw this video a while ago. It was a Heat game.
Oh yeah, and the guy come up to him.
The guy ran on the court. He's like, "Come back to Cleveland." And LeBron just held his head. He's like, he whispered it to him. I'm coming back. He said, "I'm gonna get one for the land." And you know, LeBron was thinking about that kid at one point during the series too. He's like, "Damn, down 3-1. I told that kid I get one for the land. I can't let this perfect team beat us." He wouldn't did it.
You know that kid that did that. He got banned from the Quicken Loans Arena. Yeah. But when LeBron came back, he unbanned him.
Yeah,
you're the reason he came back.
Exactly. It was perfect. It was all so perfect.
Anyway.
I bet that made that kid the savior every game even more. Then they gave him season passes. I think.
For free. Yeah.
It was excellent. Just perfect for the kid and everything.
Back to Allen Iverson. He averaged.
I don't want to talk about Allen Iverson.
No. I have to get this out there because I don't think. People don't know. They need to be informed by me. They don't know how stupid they are. So Allen Iverson, oh, he averaged 30 points. Oh, he had the best handle. I don't even think that's true.
Who had better handle than?
I think Kyrie Irving right now has a better handle.
Oh, I thought I was talking about it in that day.
Oh, well, I don't really know anyone else.
I mean, really, when you're talking about handle, once you get to a certain point, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, once you have as much handle as, like, a Allen Iverson, a Stephen Curry, a Kyrie Irving, a Chris Paul, like, once you're in that, you're that high up with your handle, there's not much you can do to be better than someone else.
But I think Kyrie Irving is better than Curry because I think that's the difference between the two.
No.
Am I wrong with that? Because I think I would pick Kyrie Irving.
I think Kyrie Irving's a better finisher than Steph Curry.
Well,
Steph Curry is more of a shooter, a pull-up type person. Kyrie Irving is more like a driver, a fadeaway, the floaters, and all that kind of stuff. Kyrie Irving is more creative with his finishing and with his handle. He's more creative, but I'm saying they both can do any move. Like, you're like, do this combo right now. They all can, like, they can. Once you get to a certain point, like with the Allen Iversons, that's what I'm saying. They're all up there to where they don't mess up when they dribble.
That's be crazy, but for now, do you have any final thoughts?
I have one thing. You know how we're talking about how people don't mess up with their handle? How can people regard James Harden as having a good handle when he dribbled the ball off his foot at least 4 times in the past year? James Harden doesn't have good handles. That's my final comment.
Alright, how about you, Sam? Got any final thoughts?
No, I got nothing.
Well, my final thought is Allen Iverson sucks. I know you don't want me to explain, but he sucks. Look at his stats. They're not that good. You get 30 points, but I know I can get 30 points from taking 25 shots a game. Anyways, that's been the G.T.O podcast. I know it was all basketball this time. But, you know, if you could find some video game news, tell me, because I can't find it.
Why are you talking to our fan base like that?
No, I'm not talking down to them. I'm just talking about to the video games. For like, I'm just realizing it's not much there. Anyway, No Man's Sky came out, and that was a game.
We can always go more philosophical. Talk about not just gaming news, but the gaming.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna wait for that. I don't want. That's why you have multiple episodes. So next week we might talk about something else. So it's been a pleasure having you on, Dontez. Sam, you were here. You're a very funny list.
Thank you.
So
I aim to please.
Oh man.
So that's it. It's been a GTO podcast episode 12. Hope you enjoyed. And comment below. Give us some criticism. I'm open to it now. I'm over it. So anyway, you could hit the kill switch, Sam.